Hello, everyone. Welcome again to Elevating Your Life with Paula Vail. I am so happy today to be sharing with you an amazing guest joining us from the beautiful country of Ireland. We have with us Mariel Forde Clarke. And something about Mariel, since her own near-death experience in 1992, she has dedicated her life to exploring the mystery of life and death. She has studied many cultures where the afterlife is considered our true home. From various research, she now understands that a belief in an afterlife determines and impacts how one grieves, and so much more. She is the author of this absolutely amazing book, Whereafter. Where do our loved ones go after they die? I so loved your book, Mariel. So first off, Mariel, welcome to the show.
Oh, Paula, it is such a blessing to be here with you, and I send you infinite blessings from the western coast of Ireland today. Oh, thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. We feel it. Oh, well, I would love you to share a little more about your background and kind of how this, your near-death experience, how that triggered you to write this fantastic book that you've given us.
Oh, thank you, Paula, for this opportunity. I suppose my background originally, I grew up in Ireland, in a very rural part of Ireland, and my grandmother was very psychic. My uncle was the seventh son of a seventh son. My brother was extremely psychic, who passed on to spirit world in 2002. And I always had a huge connections with angels and fairies, and Mother Mary came to me when I was 15 years of age. So I had huge spiritual experiences, and I didn't bat an eyelid at it because it was natural. There was nothing unnatural about seeing guides, talking to angels, seeing people that had already transitioned to the other side. But I never spoke about it. It was something I kept very hidden and secretive. My grandmother used to have to keep her gifts wrapped up because that time you didn't speak about it in Ireland for fear of being ridiculed or for fearing people might think you had lost your marbles, right? Yeah. So I went on then, Paula, and I studied science, and which was a complete contradiction because it was the left side of my brain I was studying and focusing on and giving the energy to. So I became a serologist. And then in 1992, when I had my own near-death experience, which was, I have to say, changed my entire world, my entire life. And at that time, my life was very dysfunctional. I was in a very unhappy and dysfunctional marriage. And in Ireland, the term was you made your bed, so you lay in it. So, because we had no divorce, we were just about after having separation approved. So I went on when I survived my near-death experience, the surgeon had said to me I was one lucky girl. And I didn't feel that lucky. I said, I really wish I had died, because he said, you died on the table. We infused so much blood. We were lucky to get you back. You were dead and we finally got you back. But I was unhappy with that. I didn't want to be back, because where I had been with my near-death experience was it was the most beautiful place I have ever seen. I have seen them now through my out-of-body experiences, much for the last few years as well. And it was just a beautiful sacred holding. And I was in that space. There was no pain, there was no anguish, there was no worry, no stress, no anxiety. So it was just a beautiful place to be. So when I did survive my near-death experience, I wondered why did I survive? Why couldn't God just have left me in that lovely place? And my quest then, after separation, I had the courage then to separate, and my quest started. I began studying other cultures. I began doing different things, which was totally holistic and totally against my normal left brain thinking. I studied shamanism and became a shaman. I studied crystal healing, angel healing, divination, you know, IET, integrative energy therapy, all of that. And it was open. I became a sponge. I wanted to know more the afterlife, because I have, and then when much years later, I started to run workshops on loved ones, a whisper away, which was teaching people how to connect with their loved ones. And through those classes, Paula, people would often come and say, how do I connect with my loved one? How do you know there is an afterlife? Is my son ended his life through suicide? My daughter ended her life through suicide. Can you tell me where are they now? Are they okay? You know, or have they been confined to this fire and brimstone and damnation? So it has taken nearly 30 years for me to write Whereafter, but I have included in it all the sciences, because having the science background, I needed to have the balance of all the near-death experiences, it's not a new phenomena. It has been thousands and thousands of years ago being recorded, and going back even to Plato and Aristotle. And it is to bring comfort for people to know that even though I was a skeptic, a huge skeptic myself, because of my science background, and that has been a huge help as well, because it's healthy to be skepticism, to be a healthy skepticism. And some people will often say, do you think I believe you? Well, not one word. And I said, that's okay. I'm delighted. You don't have to know. You don't have to believe a word I say, you know. But the science, then I bring in the science, and I bring in the medical background, the medical evidential proof that is there. So it has been a lovely, incredible journey, Paula. And Whereafter would never have come about, only for in 2018, I had a serious ski accident, which rendered me more or less, I was unable to walk for 4 or 5 months. And my guides and angels, as they do in the middle of the night, came and said, you must write a book. And you must write it, all got to do with the afterlife, where the soul go, about the journey of the soul. And it is a book that is to bring comfort and hope to those that will be reading it, or those left bereft by grief. You know, so that's really how it, in a nutshell, Paula. And I'm probably speaking very fast coming from Ireland.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And you talk about such a variety of things in your book, so many great talking points. And something that I just went, oh my gosh, how fun is that? Is you mentioned about having out-of-body experiences while sleeping. Mm-hmm. So is that something that can happen to us?
Paula, that the ironic and the amazing thing is we all have experienced out-of-body experience. All of us, every single sentient being on this planet has out-of-body experiences, but we don't have recall. Sometimes if you are having an out-of-body experience, the reason that one of the signs, or a few of the signs you would know, is maybe that you're in a very deep sleep, and then all of a sudden you'll feel your kind of a thud in your body. That is when your soul is re-entering, because the soul moves out of your body at night. It goes and it travels into the astral planes for learning. The soul would get very, very tired, Paula, if it just sat inside our physical bodies while we're sleeping. Our soul is that divine part of us, Paula, that is immortal. And that is the part of us that drives us in this vehicle, this vessel, as I call it, the body, the human body. It brings us around in our physical form. And the soul, speaking of the soul is that it's pure consciousness. The soul is way beyond the brain, and it is that part of us that returns when the physical body dies. The soul exits the body, and it exits at night, Paula. And we have what is called, you may have heard of it, is the silver cord. The silver cord can be likened, say, to a mother and a baby in the mother's womb. And the umbilical cord nourishes and feeds the baby within mother's womb.
Oh,
But when the birthing process happens, baby and mother become separate. So we have a silver cord, and this silver cord nourishes us and fuels us while we're in this physical body. And it is limitless. It can travel outwards at night. And that is why with near-death experiences, Paula, when people are having when they have been brought back from being pronounced dead, like I was, the silver cord drags the soul and pulls it back into the body. And that's why you hear them saying, we've got her back, she's back, or he's back. You know,
yes.
The soul has re-entered, even though it has been out there. It has been maybe guided by a loved one, maybe guided by an angel or a saint or a holy one, or somebody that the person recognizes. And some people will have had their life review while they've had their near-death experience, and they come back and it changes them. But the one thing that is so common, Paula, nobody who has had a near-death experience will ever fear dying.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I'm like you. I'm a shaman, and
Yeah.
I've always referred to my soul planner. My soul planner is always with me, lifetime to lifetime. And I've actually done a journey and sat at a table looking at my soul planner and reaching out and putting my hand on the heart, and they reached out to me and connected. But I had never thought about, I'm sleeping and my soul planner is going to leave the body for a while. That is so fascinating and exciting.
And even people, Paula, who are very deep, like I meditate a lot, and I love nature and I love swimming in the sea. But when we are in that nice zen, even through meditation, our soul, we can see our soul leaving our bodies. We can see the silver cord as it is traveling. And, one of my friends, she is so deep and enmeshed in deep meditation. She's a beautiful soul. She actually was able to witness the silver cord while she was in deep meditation, and her soul traveled out her body, up the stairs, into the bedroom, around the house, down top of the landing, down the stairs again, back into her body. And I know people listening will probably say, that is weird, that could not possibly happen. But it does happen. Our souls are that divine spark that is within us, and it is capable of miracles.
Yes, and it is fascinating once we realize we are more than just this physical body, and we go outside that, or realize we are beyond that. You see through new eyes. You do.
Yeah. And I suppose for me, Paula, as well, I'm very blessed that I work with the dying, and I'm also known as a spiritual midwife. So I have seen such incredible sacredness while I have been at the deathbed of another. And that is where I see, and I'm given the visions of where I can see when the person that is about to transition, or when the soul chooses its coming, it also chooses its time for going. And when I can see the veils parting. And I know it sounds cliche, but it's like curtain drapes that are drawing. And I can see the loved ones, the past, that are coming to bring this person home. And and I'm not on any drugs. Honest to God, I'm not on anything. I just see these things. I am gifted with the gift of clairvoyancy and clairaudience and clairsensing. And I suppose they have developed over the years, but they completely sharpened after my near-death experience. So it is lovely to know and to see that that the loved ones are being brought across. Nobody ever dies alone. Even if people are, wondering, oh, I wasn't there on time, my mom passed, my dad or my sister or my son or my daughter, bless all who have made that transition. Please don't ever worry, because nobody ever leaves this earth alone. Angels, guides, or loved ones already passed come and bring the person to the other side.
And that means so much, because when you lose someone you love, you're dealing with the loss and missing them, but yet it also changes a whole perspective to know that they're still with us. They still exist, just on a different plane, correct?
And that is so important, Paula, for people to know. And I think people only tap into that wanting, that knowing when they lose somebody so close to them. It actually puts people on a journey of self-discovery, and it's like it opens up a spiritual pathway so that they can see, is my loved one okay? And I deal a lot as well, Paula, with suicide, and bless every soul that has transitioned through suicide. And in Ireland, it was a very big negative taboo years ago. And I have been so reassured by my guides, by Mother Mary and the angels, that every soul that ends their life through suicide is carried and nurtured and taken safely home to the other side, where they are nurtured and where they're receiving healing, spiritual counseling, until they feel they're ready maybe to re-enter the earth plane again at a later stage.
Yes, yes. And wouldn't you say that kindness and respecting humanity means so much in our lifetime? You know, the kindness we show others, because really that's realizing they are all they're like us. We're all part of that connection in totality that moves from body to body.
That is so true, Paula. And you know, the great Chief Seattle, he said that we were all threads in this wonderful web of life, and that we were all interconnected. And I love his phrase, because being the American Indian as well, and being a shaman, I loved his phrases. And it is so important that we are showing love and kindness, especially in a world today where there is a serious deficit of love and action, love in action. And I will always be aware of our karmic debt, Paula. Each of us has a balance sheet in this life, and it is called karma. What you give out in life comes back tenfold. So it is so important that when we do cross over, and when we have our life review, it is like looking at our balance sheet of good deeds and bad deeds.
Yes.
It will be weighed up, Paula, on the deeds that we did. It won't be the holidays we had. It won't be the cars we have in our driveway. It will be the amount of goodness and kindness we extended to another. It's about the maybe money we raised for charity or in good causes. It's going to be, did we help an old lady across the road at the traffic lights? Those simple acts of kindness are the ones that's going to earn us grace and virtue when we do cross over. You know, so love and kindness is huge, and also love and forgiveness, Paula. Forgiveness is a huge part of the healing process in the grieving process, so it is. So, I mean, you know, without love, nothing exists, but without forgiveness, nothing is healed. So it's so important that we love and forgive in the same token.
Yes, I so enjoyed a quote in your book. A healthy attitude rejoices the soul, and the art of forgiveness empowers it. That is a beautiful quote.
And
so much.
You see, Paula, what people, you know, and I mean, I was an ideal candidate. Coming from a very dysfunctional marriage, I was not going to forgive easily, because I felt I was perfect. I felt, well, my ex-husband, he was the one that was in the wrong. And when I got my cancer, like, the body doesn't lie. And it's amazing, because when we are happy our cells as well rejoices like our soul. It's like a happy elixir within our veins. A happy elixir runs and courses through our lovely blood. And when we get sad or depressed, we depress that energy, that life force within the cell, and we stunt our health, and our health becomes compromised through depression, through negative thinking, through anger, through resentment. And I had all those things. I was so angry, and I was angry with God but I realized I had to ask for forgiveness of him afterwards as well. I was angry with God for allowing my life to be such a living hell. I was angry that I had to endure and pretend that I was okay. And then after my near-death experience and also my contemplated suicide, I started to read Louise Hay's book on You Can Heal Your Life. And I had the great pleasure, Paul, of meeting her many years later.
Oh, I love it.
Yes. Oh, I feel that was a great blessing. But it was about forgiveness. And in every chapter I come on, any book got to do with forgiveness, I just lick my finger and I'd flick the pages very fast. No, 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 no. Forgiveness is not for me. I am perfect. I did nothing wrong. So the reality is, Paula, for me, I had to learn. I had to accept my part in the relationship. I had to accept that maybe I wasn't perfect as I thought I was, just because I wasn't perpetrating any bad acts of unkindness. But the reality was, when I started to forgive, first of all, I had to forgive myself. That was the biggest and the hardest task. I had to forgive me, first of all. And then I was able to start forgiving my ex. And it was only then, because forgiveness is about setting yourself free. And it's about not allowing anybody else the power over you to control your life ever again. And that is why some people find it hard to forgive. I've worked with people, Paula, in their dying days, bless them. And like even more recently, one man, 50 years of grudges he held because of the land that had never been given to him. And it was 6 weeks before he passed that he finally forgave his father, who was dead for years and years, finally forgave the brother that didn't hand over the land. So, you know, that was a long time to be holding bitterness and resentment. And that's why our bodies become compromised. A healthy attitude, a healthy mind fuels our soul, as you said, it nourishes our soul and it empowers us. So it's so important, if we are holding grudges, just let it go. It's not, you don't have to be living in their pockets. You don't have to be nice to them. You can just say, I forgive you. You can even write it out in a little piece of paper and burn it in a little ceremony for yourself. I'm releasing these people and I'm letting them go from my life.
Yes.
And I am free of them.
And, you know, you're right, it's not an easy task. Forgiving is difficult, and it can be difficult to forgive ourselves, but we can do it, and it really does set us free. It really does, doesn't it?
It's such an empowering, and that is why when I was writing Whereafter, I was guided by the angels to put in about love and forgiveness and the miracles that happen through love and forgiveness. And I have some lovely stories, as you know, Paula, in the book about love and forgiveness, and how love it feeds us, love nourishes us, and without love in our bodies, we are empty vessels. We all need to feel loved and be loved.
The greatest power. Love.
It is.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. Mariel, tell everyone where they can get a copy of your great book, Whereafter.
Whereafter can be got with 6 books from John Hunt Publishing. It's available on all the Amazon sites globally. It's also in Kindle, and my website is marielfordeclarke.com, and all the social media outlets and platforms are there as well.
I love it. I love it. With a few minutes left in the show, what last words do you want to leave with everyone today, my dear?
I I suppose, Paula, what the fact that we were talking just there a few moments ago about love and forgiveness, what I would like to say to anybody right now that has been holding on to a grudge for years and years, I would ask them to release it and let it go, set themselves free from the anguish, the pain, and the unnecessary trauma that it's causing their beautiful soul. The soul needs to live in an invigorated, healthy, positive body. So in forgiving, you are releasing the past. You are setting yourself free, and to know that you deserve love and to be loved. And that above all, God loves us. We are his divine children here on sacred Mother Earth. And to be in a state of love is what our soul is calling forth for each of us right now.
Oh, Mariel, thank you so much for your beautiful words and great messages. Oh my gosh. And this beautiful book and all that you've experienced and sharing so much of it with us. I'm really grateful. You are.
Paula, it's been a humbling experience for me, and I bless you for this amazing opportunity. Thank you so much.
I'm so grateful and happy that we connected. Everyone, thank you for joining us today. Love, hugs, and blessings. Mariel, love, hugs, and blessings. Thank you so much. We will stay
Namaste, my
connected.
angel. Blessings to you.
Blessings.
Namaste.
Bye.